Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Live Penguin TV. My name's Sky, and I'm going to be your host for tonight. And with me today, I've got Tom.
Hi, everyone. We had 3,182 penguins last night. That's at least the second night in a row. We've had 3,000 plus, which is fantastic. I counted over 3,000 one night last week, so very, very healthy numbers. I'll be keeping an eye on the feed on the YouTube channel. So any interesting questions, we do get a lot. So we'll try and pass on a few interesting questions during the evening. On the Facebook feed, if you post a question there, our rangers will look after it within about 24 hours. So have a good night, everyone, and enjoy your viewing. Thank you.
All right, you guys in the mood for some penguins? I am. I'm very excited to see if we can get over 3,000 again. Wouldn't that be fantastic? So really big numbers here at the Penguin Parade at the moment because it is the middle of the breeding season. Well, not the middle, it's really only just the beginning, but it is off and racing. So we're getting huge numbers at the moment, probably because the males and the females, the adults, are coming back probably to feed their chicks, and they're probably coming back night after night, and that's why we're seeing really, really big numbers. They've got a good reason to come home. Now, you might also see that the stands are empty here, and that is because we are just closed for the weekdays this week. We're going to be open again for regional Victorians on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you're interested, jump onto our website to book some tickets, and hopefully we'll be open to many more people not too long away, hopefully. But yes, empty stands again tonight. So the Penguins are all alone. They have the place to themselves tonight. Let's go have a look. And we're coming to you live here on Malau, or Phillip Island, which is the home of the Boonwurrung of the Kulin Nation. These are the traditional custodians of the land here. We acknowledge that, and we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So let us know where you're watching from tonight in the comments, as well as giving us all your questions. And if you know the traditional custodians of where you live, put that in the comments as well, because we love to know. All right, so where are the penguins? What's going on? Last night they came in at 7:50, so they're already later than last night. And at the moment we would expect that they would be out in the water. And actually, it's not a bad night tonight for looking for rafts. So I'll just do a quick little zoom in. Have we heard anything about penguins at the water's edge yet, Tom? No, nothing yet. No, nothing yet at the moment. So I don't think that there's any have arrived just yet. And yet, by the looks of it, I can't see any penguins there right now. So we'll cast our eyes out to the water, where they'll be forming into rafts. Now, those of you who've watched before know very well what a raft is. A raft is where our penguins gather together at the end of the day, because they've spent the day out by themselves hunting all alone, and they come together at night time into these groups so that they can cross the beach in big groups for safety in numbers. And that's because they don't want to get eaten as they cross the beach. This is the dangerous dash, and if you have a look, it is a big dangerous dash tonight. Have a look at this. It is a long, very low tide. They have got a long journey to walk across the beach. Then they're very exposed when they're on the beach. And they're worried that things like Pacific gulls and birds of prey might swoop down and eat them, because they are only little. They're little penguins. They're only 33 centimetres tall and 1 kilo in weight. So they're easy food for a big bird. So they group together at this time of night, ready to come in together, arrive at the beach together, and then make that dangerous dash together. And they find each other, as many of you well know by now. Even if you've just been reading the comments, you'll have seen people saying huck, huck to each other, and you would have said, what does huck mean? What are they talking about? What they're talking about is the noise that penguins make to call one another. They go huck, and that's how they find each other and communicate with each other and say, you're ready to go. Now, they make many other noises as well, which we've been featuring a little bit. If you like, I might do one a little bit later, but we're at the raft stage, so it's only hucking at the moment right now. They'll be hucking to each other, and gathering into groups. Now, the way you spot these groups is that you look for a bit of a black smudge on the ocean. You look for a disturbance in the water because they are air-breathing birds, which means they've got to have their heads above the water at least every 2 minutes or so. So they need to be. So you'll see that sort of disturbance in the water as they're swimming through the water, calling to one another, and then swimming together. Yep, it makes a bit of a black smudge. So I'm not, it's a bit hard to see. It's a reasonably flat night, but a fair few, edge. Oh, I've got water's edge. I wonder where. So, is that just one at the water's edge? Is that a penguin? Oh, yeah, there they are. So a little raft, a very little raft has arrived. So have your practice at counting, everybody. This is an easy one to count, I reckon, compared to some of the other nights where you get sort of 300 in a raft or so. That looks like, I'll let you guys be the judge. I don't want to expose my counting skills to you all, but not too many. I'd say about under 10 we've got there. So Paul, our penguin counter tonight, has radioed through that they are on the water's edge, and yep, we can confirm they are on the water's edge, but with a group this small, they're not so keen to cross straight away. It is a long stretch of beach, and I reckon at this time of year they would be expecting more penguins to come. So these guys might wait for a bigger raft to follow in before they make the dangerous dash. So, yep, you can see that they're just hanging around in the shallows there. They're not exactly swimming back out, but they're not making any moves to go forward just yet. So I reckon we've got a little bit of time before they walk. But keep your eyes out behind them for that raft, for that disturbance in the water. We'll keep watching as I tell you a little bit about us. So we are Phillip Island Nature Parks, and we are a not-for-profit conservation organisation. We look after the little penguins. We've got a colony of 32,000 little penguins that we look after here. We've got all sorts of scientists that study these penguins. We've got conservationists who work to protect the penguins. We've got educators who educate everybody else about the penguins and about all sorts of other things going on in our island. Like we've got koalas that got caught up in the bushfires. We have the Churchill Island Heritage Farm. We look after a lot of the Southside beaches. We look after threatened species such as the hooded plover and eastern barred bandicoots. We do all sorts of really good stuff here at Phillip Island Nature Parks. And if you'd like to support us, you can jump on to our Penguin Foundation. The link is in the description, and you can donate. You can adopt a penguin. Perhaps one of these penguins that we're looking at right here is a penguin that you've adopted. Perhaps. I know you get to name a penguin if you adopt them. You can become a penguin pal, and then you get a little plushie to go with it, or you can just donate as well. Ooh, so at least one or two have fled to the rocks there. Maybe they feel a little bit less exposed if they're hiding in amongst the rocks because they've got blue feathers on their back, which blend in quite nicely to the dark rocks. These other two, though, no, they're not worried, are they? They're just sitting out in the middle of the beach for any predator to see them. They better hope that the predators have gone to sleep, and they do wait until the predators go to sleep. That's why it happens at night time. So either these two penguins are very brave or very silly. Is this your penguin that you've adopted? Is it a brave or silly one? You let us know. But they are waiting, I'd say, for the rest to arrive. If we zoom out a little bit, we'll see if this is similarly going on along the beach. We'll see if we've got anybody else down the beach. Oh, yeah, very low tide tonight. No, we've got some silver gulls waiting. They're not going to eat our penguins. You don't need to worry about that. It's not looking... I reckon our best bet for penguins is going to be right in front of us here. So we will stick to the ones we've got. We'll see if they're making any moves. Still just those two sitting out. Is that one hanging in the rocks there, do you reckon? Let's have a little look. Oh, yep, there's one very game penguin just in front of these rocks here who's thinking about going it alone. Was that two, maybe? Two. Don't go without a group, you little things. That's not a sensible idea. Oh, but maybe they're going to do what they want. Maybe they're desperate to get home. Maybe they've got chicks that they know are going to be crying out for food. But I would say that any time now we should be expecting some bigger rafts along to help these little guys across. So while we wait, let's get a question. Tom, do we have any questions so far?
Yes, we've had one good question from Kira. How many species of penguins are there?
Oh, great question, Kira. There are 18 species of penguins in the world. Ours are the smallest and by far the cutest. And I'm just zooming in because I'm wondering if this is a raft here. Yep, we've got the smallest ones. And our ones don't live in Antarctica. As you can see, they survive just fine without ice. And in fact, that's one of the reasons that we think that they're so small, is because they've got to deal with the heat. And being small helps with that. Well, the biggest penguins are the emperor penguins. They can be found in the really tough parts of Antarctica, and they survive some really, really tough conditions. And they're big, so that helps with that. But no, we've got 18. But ours are the smallest. And ours are the only ones that are blue. All the rest are black and white, but ours are blue and white. So we've got really special little penguins here. And literally little penguins are their name. They're called Eudyptula minor as their scientific name, and that means good little diver. So little is literally in the name. We used to call them fairy penguins here in Victoria. In other places, they sometimes called them blue penguins. In other places, they called them little penguins. We now, everywhere we call them little penguins just for consistency. Oh, now is this a raft? I wonder if we've got a raft. No, we're looking in such great distances. The camera, oh, yep, it's clicked in now. There we go. Sometimes a raft looks like rocks. It might have just been rocks. The few penguins that have come in early tonight are sort of just looking around going, where's everybody else? We can't go until everybody else comes. They're not really sure what to do with themselves. It's sort of coming out of the rocks, going back into the rocks. Don't worry, they'll be along soon. We're just as excited as you are, little penguins. Oh, they snuck in on the side. Oh, there they go, you sneaky little things. So these other penguins get across. So a smaller raft to start it off tonight, but I would say that this raft is big enough that they'll tentatively start to make their way across the beach. And yep, it does look like that's happening. We've got a few filing in from the back there along the rocks, and yep, they are not moving very quickly, you can see. They are slowly and cautiously making their way along the beach. And we will kick off the penguin count once 5 of these penguins make it halfway across the beach. So last night it started at 7:50, the night before was 7:55, and tonight we're looking at a start time of, has it started yet?
Yeah.
Oh, it has. It might have started somewhere else along the beach. Here we go. So here they come, waddling slowly across the beach, very tentatively moving. Once they get halfway is when we begin the count. Once 5 make it halfway across the beach. And we will count for 50 minutes. We've been doing that since 1968. Oh, yep, they're often racing a little bit more. You can see the ones at the start have really taken off there. There's some slower ones at the back who are still moving cautiously. The rocks are spreading them across. Because you see they were in sort of a single file line for quite some time, but now the rocks are making it hard. It's a bit of an obstacle course for them there. White bellies showing us where they are. Now I'm keeping a wide view just for the moment so we get some good context of just exactly the journey that they've got tonight. Oh, and is that a number? 80? Oh, a start. I start at 8:05. Okay, so this was the beginning. Okay, there we go. So these are the first penguins to cross the beach. There we are. 8:05. And hopefully Paul will let us know how many we've got. He's got Linda out there helping him tonight. She's on the east stand watching in the east direction, and he's counting all the pathways to the west. So let us know how many you think are in that group. Actually, it looks like more as they get closer, as they spread out. I was originally saying it's quite a small raft, but no, it's actually huge. So if you've got the penguin counting skills, let us know how many you think, and hopefully we'll get a confirmation for you very shortly. Still moving reasonably slow. So it'll be interesting to see if they want to rest on these rocks or if they keep heading straight home to their burrows, probably to chicks, I would say. Since we're getting big numbers like this, I'd say there must be a fair few chicks in the colony right now. Some of them will be going to take their turns on eggs, but when they're looking after eggs, they'll only come back every 3 to 5 days usually and give their partner a break. Whereas when they've got chicks, they need to be coming back almost daily to give their partner a chance to go out to swim and to bring the chicks some food. Daily if they can. If there's food close enough, and we've got food near Cape Woolamai, which is just on the other side of the island. So it's not a huge, huge journey for them. If the food is further away, oh, they've got a welcoming party. Can you see this one penguin? The 2 penguins, 3 penguins here. So these might have been penguins that stayed in today and are maybe welcoming their friends home. They might be shell gritters. They might have been just waiting for the others to come home and have now come out to nibble on shells to get extra calcium, because that means that if they're a shell gritter, they've got eggs developing in their belly and they're building the outside shell with the calcium from shells that they eat on the sand. It's like pregnancy cravings. So that might be why we've got these 3. They might have been ones that arrived early, but look, we really didn't see them. I didn't see them. Maybe you did. I would say that they're ones that have been on land today for whatever reason. Perhaps, yeah, as I said, shell gritters, but who knows. So some of these penguins might choose to stop on these rocks, but I imagine the first raft does seem to go onwards, doesn't it? Yep, straight into the pool. Look at all that splashing. They are well on their way now. Swimming along, swimming underneath this penguin's plus stands there. Well, it sounds like we're getting a number. And others are coming across the pool, heading into the colony. Yep, how many was it? Oh, it was 220. Gosh, I said at the start it was a small raft. What was I talking about? And this is why I can't be a penguin counter, everybody. I'm rubbish at it. I'm terrible. Oh, yeah, it's a small group. 220. My goodness. So they're on their way home. But let's quickly switch to, where am I going? Sorry, I'm going to make you seasick. I want to go to here. I want to show you these guys moving along the penguin highway here. Yep, now it's starting to look like 200.
Yeah, we'll be fine now, Paul. Thanks for that.
Brilliant stuff. So here they go waddling from side to side. Some of them are going to head up this highway for quite a distance. So when it's safe to welcome you back, this highway goes right along some of our boardwalks. So you can actually follow these penguins home to their burrows when you come to join us. And it's a really special thing to be able to walk with them on their journey home. It goes quite a way. And they'll peel off at different points to their homes. Some of them might live about 2 kilometres away. Others have beachside mansions like these ones in the front. But let's cast our eyes back to the ocean and see if we've got more groups. Oh, yep, that looks like quite another big group. Oh, gosh, and they are really fanning out. That's just arriving. So can you see here? It seems like they've come in a straight direction and then they've just gone right across these rocks. Why are you doing that? Very interesting. Or maybe this group right on the far side were entered at a different spot. Maybe they weren't part of the same raft and they're joining together into the same group now. Hard to know. We didn't catch them coming in. So have another go. See what you reckon. See how many you think are in this group. Might be another bumper night, everybody. And while we watch, let's get another question from Tom.
This one's from Cleo. Do our penguins get confused by the change in daylight saving times this week?
Oh, great question, Cleo. Do they get confused by the change in daylight savings time? They don't wear watches, our little penguins. They can't manage to fit them onto their little flippers. So, no, they don't actually know the time. So daylight savings is a human construct, whereas they think about the sunset. They're always looking at the sunset. And even though on Saturday compared to Sunday, for us, the time changed by an hour, for them, the sunset probably only changed by a minute or two. So, no, the daylight savings doesn't bother them at all. You might have seen that 2 nights ago we were sort of getting started at about 6:30 or 6:40. Tonight we're getting started at 7:30 or 7:40. So no, daylight savings doesn't seem to bother them at all. They don't have to set their clocks back or anything. Thanks for that, Cleo. So they're going to join this group on our salon rocks, on the grooming rocks. We're seeing all sorts of penguin grooming. I'm going to zoom in real close for you to get a good look at some of what's going on here. Let's get a good look at these cute little things, even closer. Let's push the camera to the limits. There we go. You can see a lot of them are putting that beak right through their feathers. They're fixing their feathers. They're getting them lined up. They're making sure that they're nice and waterproof. They're making sure that they look good for their partner that they might be coming home to. It is the breeding season after all. It is the time that you need to impress. You want to look spiffy for your partner perhaps. So lots of grooming on there, lots of head shaking, getting rid of the salt out of their noses because they drink the seawater. So they've got to get rid of that salt out of their nostrils almost. So lots, little penguin swarm here, lots of activity. And then there's some penguins just barging on through. They have not got time to preen themselves. They've got places to be, so they are continuing on. But I'm just going to, while we've still got a tiny bit of light left, I'm going to cast my eyes back to the beach to see if we can catch another raft or wattle, I should say, or group. And aren't I glad that we did? That's another big group, I reckon, that's just arrived in, spilling across these rocks. So yep, I'd say we've got another big night for our poor penguin counter, Paul. And we count the penguins for science. We're doing a bird study, and we've been doing this bird study since 1968, and we're looking at the trends of the penguins coming home. And this is how we know if, it helps us know a little bit about what's going on in the colony and the health of the colony, things like that. And science is really important. Scientists study for years and years, usually a minimum of 6 years to get your PhD or get your doctorate, minimum 6 years. And then their work is cross-checked, it is referenced, it is reviewed, it is sent back for corrections. It goes under this rigorous stress test, the work of scientists. It's really important. And so when you read something that is in a scientific journal, you can usually trust that it's going to be as close to correct as it can be. It is written by an expert. It has been checked by experts. It is the best information that you can get. And that is why science, we've got another raft arriving. That is why science is so important. If you know a scientist, give them a hug and get involved in science. Pay attention in science in school. Study science at university. It teaches you critical thinking. It teaches you how to spot what is a good reference, what is a bad reference. That's a really useful thing. And trust your scientists. They know what they're talking about. So that's my message for you. Oh, Paul, tough work. So his job in the name of science is to catch or to count all of these penguins, and it's just another really big raft. And there's no rest for the wicked because there's another raft or group forming just at the water's edge there as well. I would be expecting big numbers again tonight. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night again to find out exactly how many we've had tonight, but it's looking big. I reckon if that first group was 220, we've had two groups that seem like they've been bigger than that already. Well, I reckon we'd be near 1,000. And this is just at one pathway on the beach. We've got about 5 of them, with penguins coming up all the way. So another big night tonight, I would say. All right, as we watch these guys come in, can I get another question, Tom?
Yeah, this one's from Mike. What is the difference, or how can you tell the difference between a male and female little penguin?
Oh, how do we tell the difference? Look, we look at their beak, first of all. That's the first probably step, is we look at their beak and we get out our calipers, that's sort of like a penguin ruler, and we measure their beak, or the depth of their beak. And if it is a thicker beak, it's most likely to be a male. If it's got a more pronounced hook on the edge of it, it's more likely to be a male. If it's a thinner, more slender beak, it's probably a female. And that's our first step. I guess after that, we really have to do a blood test, but we don't tend to do that unless we really have to for some reason. We tend to rely on our calipers. We don't want to interfere with the birds too much. So yeah, we really do it. You can try, if we have a look, if we can get up close, you can try and tell the difference between the thicker beak and the thinner beak. But it's something that's probably best to do when you come and visit us in the flesh. You can get really quite close to these penguins and really see the difference between those beak sizes. Great question, thank you. So swarms of penguins tonight. Well, it's getting dark out there, so let's focus on the stuff that's going on closer to home now. Yeah, stacks of penguins on those grooming rocks here, isn't there? Stacks going on. Oh, we might have some penguin diving. Let's jumping off the diving board here. So they are heading on their way into this pool. Now, we've had lots of rain, and in fact, it's been officially, oh, come on, camera. It's been officially called it's a La Nina year this year, and that means we're expecting to see more rain across spring and summer. So this pool, which does usually dry up, may not dry up this year. You never know. So we might be able to watch diving board antics for quite some time to come. And we will be continuing these live streams for the foreseeable future. So you will be able to get your penguin fix night after night at sunset. All right, we've got 5 minutes left, everybody. I'm going to switch cameras. And let's have a look at these little waddlers. You enjoying it, waddle watchers? As they head along this penguin highway. Waddling along. They've got to rock from side to side to propel themselves forward. They've got a very low center of gravity. And they've got fused knees. So they can't move their knees, so they have to rock. And that's why we get that distinctive waddle that we see. And oh, it's a great time of year. So many penguins, so much to look at. The breeding season is probably my favourite of the penguin seasons that we have. Probably my second favourite season is molting season. And that is towards autumn. So the start of next year, February, March, April kind of time is when it kicks off. And that's when the penguins get rid of all their feathers in one go. So most most birds will drop a feather here and there and replenish their feathers as they go. But penguins can't do that because they've got to stay waterproof. So what they do instead is at one time of year, they almost double their size in weight. They can almost be about 2 kilos. Because they're going to have to survive without food for about 17 days. And they leave the ocean for 17 days and sit inside their burrows and they push all of their feathers out and then they grow a beautiful new set of feathers. That's molting. We call it a catastrophic molt because it is quite catastrophic in nature. And so I like that season as well because you get to see some pretty grumpy looking penguins with half their feathers sitting on land. Pretty unhappy with their deal in life for that 17 days or so. So who knows, maybe we'll still be doing the live streams around that time and we may be able to show you some. I'm sure at least on Facebook we'll be able to show you pictures, so make sure you follow us on Facebook. so that you can see everything that's going on here with us here at Phillip Island Nature Parks. So remember, if you want to help these guys, do donate to our Penguin Foundation. Have you seen the penguin that you adopted yet tonight? Is it this one in the front there? You named it a creative name. Have you bought one for a loved one? Do they love it? Are they so pleased with it? And do keep it in mind as a gift for somebody that you love. Everybody wants to see a penguin. All right, let's go back to this main camera and see what's going on. So I'd say we must be almost at the end of the stream now. Must only have a few minutes left. 2 minutes left. So let's get a quick question. Oh, Tom's saying no. No worries. Well, quickly type us a question, somebody, and we'll get one last question.
So this is from Clelia. Do we have names for our penguins?
Oh, do we have names for our penguins? We don't tend to name our penguins. Yep, sorry, I'm just going to try and... Oh, another raft is coming, but it is very low light, so I'm probably not going to try and look at them. I might stick to the ones that we've got in front of us. Do we name our penguins? Look, we don't really name our penguins, no. We study our penguins, and so some of them will have numbers attributed to them, I guess, but we don't tend to name them. It's very hard to tell who's who, honestly. But that's why we offer the adoption program, so that you can name a penguin. You can adopt one, you can name it, you can call it whatever you like. So no, we don't name them, you name them. And the way to name one is to adopt one. So jump online, jump onto our Penguin Foundation website and adopt a penguin today. All right. I reckon it's about time for us to wind up now. So thanks so much for tuning in tonight, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed Penguin Live TV. We'll be back again tomorrow night and every night for the foreseeable future. Any last things you want to say, Tom?
No, so hopefully everyone enjoyed yourselves. Keep the questions coming in. As I said, Facebook will answer within 24 hours. And we're both back tomorrow night, so we'll see you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night, everybody. It's been lovely. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye.